Okay. Let's see if this goes to the right place. Oh yeah, waiting. There we go. All right. Let's bring up our video so we can go over it. Let's see. How do we want to do it? I need to bring up the chat on my phone so I can watch while we do this. Where's my videos? There we go. Turn my phone down. Well, I gotta hit play so I can watch my own ads.
Have you subscribed to the Semantic Mastery channel yet?
What?
You're seeing this ad because
Oh
you
my
recently
goodness.
watched one of our thousands of SEO and digital marketing
Hey David,
videos.
how's it going?
So
I'm watching too many of my own ads, so.
This is game food. 16 ounces of pure annihilation.
Whoa. We gotta turn this out. There we go, there we go. Alright. I think I'm almost ready for to do this. I might tweet out about it real quick. Not on that one. I might tweet find our actually I think I can go here and do it. Just to YouTube Red, why should I get that? Actually, I think I can go here and do it. Oh my goodness. Just to, nope. Turn off. Okay. Kayatin, how's it going? Oh, no ads. Yeah. I should do that. You're right. Okay, so the purpose of today is to someone I had two people yesterday ask me to go over the video kind of like scene by scene if I wanted and talk a little bit about what each scene was. Hey Mohammed from Indonesia. To talk about, you know, each scene, what it took to do it, if there were any, maybe where they were, stuff like that, just to do a little commentary while we kind of watch it. And so I'm going to try to do that. Yeah, it was a blast chasing it for sure. WD, it's also very exhausting and can be a little tiring, honestly. But and there's high days, you know. There's days where in here that there's footage from this day in Imperial, and the next day we made all the right choices that day, and then the next day we made all the wrong choices, or we made one wrong choice that really kind of screwed us up. So we missed a tornado right where we thought it was going to happen, but we made a bad road network choice. So you go from like highs and lows. So sometimes it's a real blast, and sometimes you just want to throw your phone out the window and not pay attention to what's going on. And it's a tough emotional battle sometimes. Hey Jack and Stormy and David, thank you so much for the kind words, you guys. So I'm gonna try to just like get into this. I like to comment first because someone on the live premiere said you won't get any down thumbs on this video, but sure enough, there's two. You know, and you gotta figure why did they say that. But some people don't like the music and stuff like that. So, but it's done pretty good. All the comments have been really cool. I'm using I use Premiere Pro to put everything together, Jack. I haven't really done much, so you're not really late. Brendan, thank you. Honestly, I mean, I know that there's definitely a lot of skill and experience in capturing this stuff, but a lot of it is just time. You know, you gotta 55 something days of chasing. It's yeah, David, I freaking use LR time lapse like crazy, so I use it on almost every time lapse. I don't use it for deflickering because I never had that problem. I don't use it for rendering, but I use it to because I change exposures a lot when it's getting dark. So if my scene gets dark, I'll increase the shutter speed, and then LR time lapse I can fix it. I did lots of things where I if I can find the right one here, let me see if I can think of one where I did something interesting. I don't know if I did it here, but probably. So there's also, you can do these little things where, are you going to load? So I have a radio filter right here during the editing process, and you can see the exposures down to minus 0.5. Computer's acting a little slow. So right here, this is minus 0.5 in this area of the screen. If I go here and click it, let's see. It's minus 5 there. Let me see if I changed it. I usually do. So here it's minus 0.25. So between these two, these are just the 3 keyframes. Between these 2 keyframes, LR time lapse will ramp this radio filter from 0.5 to 0.25 in between these 2 shots. And so I use it for a lot of that kind of stuff as well. So lots of ramping of, I'll ramp contrast, highlights, temperature, whatever I need to do, I'll ramp stuff to make it perfect. So some of these are just really bright and in certain areas, and so you got to do some stuff to fix it up. I don't remember like if I did it on anything else, like on Imperial. I don't know if I did. I do have, here I have a radio filter for the top half, so I must have done something on this one, minus 0.53, and then when it gets to here, it's still minus 0.53, so maybe I didn't really ramp this one at all. So, let's see if I did the foreground at all. 0.34, probably didn't really do much. I think sometimes I just use them to balance, because it was really bright up top, so I bring this down and bring the bottom up. So, but yeah, it's really, really powerful for that. So, hey Rebecca. Oh, good. That's a good timing. Thanks so much. I'm glad you're here watching this. So we can kind of go step by step. I'll try to keep the sound down a little bit so it's not too loud. But this was Quinter, Kansas last year, so 2018, and this was one of those days that was a long day. We waited for this boundary to go up, and there were storms all over the place going up, but we were waiting in the middle on a boundary, and we basically had to wait to near sunset, and then this storm finally went up, and it was doing some things and not moving, and then we got in front of it, and right here, right before it got dark, is when it got real good, and I decided to, the way the music is, I needed kind of a long, slow clip to open the film, and a lot of the clips didn't really work. But this one, for whatever reason, it didn't move very much, so it kind of sat in one place, and we were able to time lapse it for a while. So this became the opening because it was real kind of, I don't know, I think it's kind of ominous, the color's kind of cool, and it was a real perfect clip to open this thing. So Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I really like the Ex Machina that kind of soundtrack. Soundtrack from Interstellar, Arrival, Inception. Those kind of soundtracks always speak to me. Okay, Mike, I won't tell anybody. And Chris, thank you guys so much for saying all the nice stuff. The tweets and comments have been. I mean, we've got 260 comments on this already, although I've responded to a lot of them, so I'm sure mine count. But we've had lots and lots of comments, and 13,000 views already, which is real nice. I really appreciate it. My friend, the guy, this pastor at our church, Brian. He said, "Stop watching the Mueller hearings and endless commentary and do something productive and watch my video." So that's really nice. I'm retweeting that. That's good. So anyway, so this became kind of the opening scene, and I really like to put in the musician right at the front because that stuff, Luke's music, is really good, and the music is real important to making this come alive. It's about 50% of it. I mean, there's a lot of work that I have to do to get everything here. But the music, without it, to me, it doesn't have the same impact. It's just a bunch of clips together. Although some people tell me they turn the sound down and they love it anyway, which blows my mind. But so we kind of went from this to where the music's really haunting, and I just wanted to kind of start off the film with slower scenes that just kind of went with the music. And this isn't even like a really great storm. It's not a supercell or anything, but it's beautiful colors, and I love this field and this road that just went out into nowhere, and the colors of it it was amazing. So it's kind of one of those ones where it's not even a good shelf cloud. It's not a supercell. It's nothing fantastic, but it's perfectly beautiful. And there's lightning flashing, and I just love anything like this where you've got a sunset to like a really cool blue dark storm. That color transition is so awesome. So I try to pick these kind of close-up stuffs here. All these shots here so far have been with a 50 millimeter kind of tight stuff. So I kind of started off this way, and I've done it before. This was wide, I guess, but a lot of these are more of a tighter shot. This again is a 50. Oh yeah, my wife she thought the train was distracting. And so then here, as the music kind of changes to a different beat, I try to switch to wide, and to get into bigger stuff. Yeah, and what's really funny, if you have 4K, and really look at this, there's people, there's a tour group right here, and I just didn't really think I could get them out without it being a real chore. So you can see people walking around behind the train here in this bottom right. They're all watching the storm. But I know my wife, when she first saw it, she thought the train was distracting. But everybody else has really liked it, so I haven't worried about it. Well, Jake, I'm a music bed ambassador. So they came to me and a bunch of other filmmakers like a year or so ago to be ambassadors for them. So that's why, like, on the description of this video or of the film, you'll see a link to like an affiliate link to MusicBed, because they want to get subscriptions and stuff. So I'm in a great position now where I can use the music for free. And obviously I'm promoting their service and their product, because the music bed, not even because I'm getting it free. I was using the music bed before I was an ambassador, and I've paid lots of money. I paid, I use another guy where he did custom music for me. I probably spent at least like $3,000 over the last 5 years on licensing music. And but to answer your question, I need to find music first before I start editing, because that's how I decide how everything's going to be laid out. So when I did have a guy write music for me once, that was a little trickier, because he would write about like a minute or so at a time and give it to me. And so I would take that minute, put it down, and start laying out tracks to it, and then kind of tell him what I wanted next. So that was a little more of me guiding it at the same time. But I really, really like finding an awesome piece of music that's inspiring and then making everything work around it. So that's kind of what I tried to do with this. And this is actually 2 songs, so I can talk about that as well. These clips in real time, it's really hard to know. They can be like 6 minutes to like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It really depends on how long you're there. And a lot of them I speed up. Some of them I don't need to speed up because they're really fast, and some of them I speed up a lot. Oh, yeah. This was a fun day. This is the day that we got this really cool Milburn structure, which was here. So we're on this storm as it started getting good, and then all of a sudden later it looked like that. So we went from, watching it. Well, actually, it went from this to, or no, it went from, where is it? Where's the one? We were watching this. Where is it? So this little LP supercell finally got really nice and organized and came at us, and then as it got closer, it started dropping golf balls, and we went back west and got out of the way, and then we watched the backside of it. And this is a classic RFD cut here where this bright area is, where if there was going to be a tornado, it could have dropped right here. Like this is kind of like the spinny little wall cloud area, like a tornado would come down here. But it wasn't going to happen this day. But it was really cool because we had some rain falling and these rainbows coming out. That was really kind of a cool little thing. And then we raced south and drove right underneath the thing and got out and had this insane structure. But it's pretty cool here. I mean, 2 little rainbows like that. And this one, so this is another example of. And I wonder if I should just do this. I'm going to load up Premiere too. Hey, Jake, I would think I would have to clarify your question. Do I shoot to edit rather than having a plan? I'm not sure what you mean by that. My plan is to get the best footage I possibly can and then later make it into something, if that answers your question. So, I don't know if Premiere will be better or not, and I need to close this. I'm also making my, making a Blu-ray of this. I got a bunch of orders in already. So this is, that's the Blu-ray coming out for this, where you will, you can watch both of these on the same one. Where you can watch, I don't know why the flowchart's not right, but anyway, be able to, I'm kind of putting that together right now. Which one is the right one? It's a 5K iMac with about the max amount of RAM. Here's the specs. 5K, 4.2, 64 gigs of RAM. A Radeon Pro card, which doesn't always perform that great. So, the where was I going to show you? So, yeah. So this is kind of cool because it's related to. Although this, I feel like YouTube almost looks sharper watching this. Yeah, the 4K on YouTube is better. Anyway, so it's kind of fun if you have 2 cameras. I shoot this right here with a 50, really tight crop, but it's also where is it? But this right here is a wide angle shot of it, which, unless you have a good trained eye, you would have a hard time seeing that this right side over here is the same as the other one with the 50. Although I was probably shooting a little more. But that's it. So this is the wide angle shot. So at the same time, if you're doing a wide, you can do a tighter shot. So you get 2 kind of totally different looks, And so that's kind of how you can increase the amount of footage you have by shooting kind of 2 different ways at the same place. And how do someone asked how I find the storms. Well, that's That's the tricky hard part is forecasting and finding the right storms. I've been doing it by myself for a really long time, and obviously I'll get help from people. This past year, my buddy Brett Wright was with me for about 38 days of chasing, and he's really, really good forecaster. And so we were kind of doing tours together. So he was doing a lot of the forecasting because he's just so good at it. I was like, yeah, that's right. I would agree. That's the same place I would go. And so getting on these storms is just persistent, forecasting and being there. Hey, Mark Finan, such a good dude. He went on one of my tours before. Actually, he did my workshop and my tour, which is pretty awesome. Chris Allen, I don't know what. Oh, an external GPU. I don't even know what that would be or what that would entail. At least right now, this is working fine for me. I really hate buying computers. I just had to buy a new MacBook Pro because my other one's getting really slow and bad, and I use it for workshops and traveling, and I really hated doing that. So if I had to buy a Mac Pro and spend gobs of money, I would really be depressing. I may have to go down the line sometime as doing a business lease with Apple, so I don't have to pay like so much up front and just kind of lease the equipment. But I don't know. But I don't know much about GPUs or external or not. This was just a fun scene. I was really hoping a lightning bolt that I shot in here would have shown up, but it didn't. And sometimes when you shrink a clip down, not everything shows up. And there was only like a couple bolts anyway. But you can go in there and manually kind of cut the frame out and make it show up, but I just didn't bother with it. It was just a fun, pretty storm. I love the color. And what I really liked about this clip is the sun is right here. You can kind of see it setting right through the rain. So I thought that was just kind of fun. But this clip, to show you the pain of doing all this, there was a drone flying back and forth here from these guys following us. And so I had to go through about 1,700 frame time lapse, and I think I went through 600 or 700 of the frames, editing out the drone in every single shot. So, hey Jacob. Yeah, I wish you luck, man. I hope you can do it too. Jack, yeah, I'm friends with Reed actually. I've seen him a bunch. I took him chasing in Arizona before, and I don't always run into him out there because we're a little bit different strategies. He's usually right underneath it, and I'm kind of set back a little bit shooting. So I don't always run into him, but I have for sure. I'm using two Canon 5 DSRs and various lenses, Canon lenses and Sigma lenses for time lapsing. Do I have the same music track in mind? Well, I search for the music for a while till I find the right one, and then that's what I do. So this took me months to find the right track. I think I had actually been looking even earlier, like this winter and stuff, and I couldn't find anything. And then this April and May, I started really, really looking hardcore, and it took me a while. And then all of a sudden I found it. So the reason I was going to bring this up, we might as well talk about the music now, but the reason I brought Premiere Pro up, but we'll see that this track here on Audio 2 is called Canyon. It's called Canyon by Luke Atencio. So this is one song, and this one here is Scars of Courage, which is the second song by him. And so what we did is we blended, or what I did is there was a little bit of a boom at the end of this. So that little boom, you can see that it actually happens before the next song. So right here, I'm fading that song out, and then this song starts, and this is the next song, and it's a perfect. And his music sounds the same a lot, not the same, but the same kind of style. And so going from this. It almost just sounds like that other one was an intro to this faster paced song. Like when I listen to it, sometimes I think it's the same song. So this was a cool way for me to kind of, because the Scars of Courage song I really, really liked, but it wasn't long enough, and I didn't really want to loop it because it was a little repetitive, so I didn't want to loop it too much. And so I was able to get like two and a half minutes with this first song, and then get 4 to 5 minutes with the other one. So it really extended it, and so that was fantastic because I liked both those songs, and I'm like, I wish this was one, and then I tried to blend them together. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, absolutely perfect. Because it really starts off with haunting kind of music, you know, and I really want to be able to show a bunch of time lapses slowly because I knew it was going to be fast at the end, and sometimes people will be like, oh, it's just all too fast, you know, and so I tried to do something where they could be a little slower with a little bit more of a haunting kind of music. So so that worked out really well. I was pretty excited about that. And this was another, so this is like a day where you just, you know, this sunset storm is real pretty. I don't know how much I love the time lapse as much as I did just being there, but this was a day where you chase and it was all crap, and then we were out of position. We had to race back south an hour and get on the other side of the storm. We got here right at sunset for all the perfect color and lightning. And it was like a whole day to get this one clip, basically. That was what it took to get that. And that's all we got, you know? But in a whole day, this was a whole day of failure right here where I was depressed and we missed tornadoes and it was really bad. But then we stopped here. There was an old house and all the tour guests were excited to shoot the house. And I just set up a long lens with these. And like I saw the scene, I saw these towers going, and I just sat here and shot it. And I'm like, you know what? That was a really cool scene on a day that sucked, and you just never know what you're gonna get. So, let's see here, more questions. Can I spend 2 words about Breathe? I love Breathe. I would have to. I'd have to watch it again. Let's see here. Here it is. What's the Breathe? So what I love about Breathe is that I redid everything in black and white, and I like the song. So first off, the inspiration for it was this song that I heard, which is you know, I would say kind of in the style of the music I like. And this is kind of hard to watch because it's an 8K, so it's really it doesn't play well on my computer, I'll tell you that. If we go to where's Breathe on here?
Searching for a beach vacation.
Yeah, I need to
Find
not
it
have
at
ads on my own
Verbo.
stuff.
They
It's
search
kind of
for
silly
reasons
that you have to
to
watch
find
ads
your
on your own
content.
videos, but so the difference with this one is you can tell that the format, it's super wide. This is really, really wide, which I like, and I think the black and white really lends itself to being super wide. I thought about doing this really wide, but there's still sometimes a lot of stuff at top and bottom that I don't want to leave out. But this one I tried to pick wide scenes, good compositions like this tree, and stuff that just, because I use the wide aspect ratio, then this is like, you know, we've got big rain in the distance and a big foreground moving by. This one's up high distance. I'm gonna probably do another black and white one at the end of the year, probably early next year. But this music is very much the kind of crap that I love, like very haunting. See, even without the lyrics, I think that I would like the track, you know, because the song is just very kind of mysterious. That girl's voice is so incredible. They really liked it too. They got to see it. I think I linked to their Twitter account or whatever, and they got to see it, and they really, really liked it. Dan, I use themusicbed.com, as I said earlier, so that's the best music site that I like. There's other ones out there, but are you actually shooting any of these scenes in the rain? Yeah, I'll shoot stuff in the rain. So the cool thing about supercells is that a lot of times they're pulling air in, and it's so fast that the rain and whatever is hitting you at your back, so they don't usually hit the front of your lens. If it's coming at you, out here in Arizona, a lot of times we just have nothing but outflow winds. So if you're close enough to like a downburst, the rain is just going to come right at you because it's just going out. Supercells will pull their air into them. So if you're on the inflow side of it, a lot of times the rain's at your back. So I do shoot in light rain, but if it really starts pouring, then I probably need to go because then everything just gets wet, and I'm always worried about stuff breaking down, even though my Canons are beasts. Thanks, Jack. I don't know what my next video will be. Jacob, I don't know. I do everything in 30 frames a second. That's how you should be rendering your time lapses. A lot of people will just think they need to do 24 frames a second, and then it looks real jerky. So try 30. Yeah, my post workflow is well, it's Lightroom first. You know, I import everything into Lightroom, and then use LR time lapse to kind of ramp everything up and do what I need to do, and then edit it in Lightroom, and then once it's all done, then it gets rendered in After Effects to a final file, and then I use Premiere to combine everything and make a movie out of it. Yeah, some of the scenes, sometimes the storms are really close, but a lot of times I feel like it cuts it off. But they are close because, you know, this is shot super wide, like 12 millimeters, so it's a lot closer than. Even if it looks far away, it's almost on top of us because it's shot with a 12 or 11. Sometimes 11 is so wide. Someone on my messenger asked me, Lee asked me how long I am at each location. It just depends. I wouldn't know what to say. I would say I stay at positions from anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes all the way up to like 20 to 30 or longer, depending. It just really depends on how fast the storm's moving. Like this scene right here, I time-lapsed this for 20-something minutes because it just kept dumping. It didn't go anywhere. It just sat there and just kept dumping hail. And this one here, this was real short, you know. I had to slow it down, I think, just to make it kind of fit. But I was probably only there for 6 minutes. This one's a little longer, you just don't even have any idea. I would really like to let a storm hit me a little more often like this one. Uh-oh. It says stream offline. Are we still here, guys? Oh, there we go. Okay. Like, that one would have been really nice to, this one, if I can get back to it. You know, to have it hit and stuff. But the rain would have immediately just blasted the camera, so it's definitely not as much fun, so... And this right here, this is really long. I mean, this is probably like 40 minutes. I'm pretty sure I ran out of memory card space on this one because, and this doesn't even show the whole thing. Hey, Merrick, I actually do it in 4K. Everything is in 8K. That one film we just showed, Breathe, this one, this is actually rendered in 8K because I didn't do any zooming or panning. So the reason I do it in 4K is some of these clips, I'm making it, I'm like zooming in a little, or not, it's not even zooming in. If I like, in a way it's zooming in, but like, okay, so this scene right here, I'm at the scale of 65%. So what I can do is, like, I can show you, like, if I zoom out, this is what it will, this is how much space I could have with it. Like, if I wanted, I need to put it at 45, I think 44. But if I wanted, you know, it would look like this. Like, it's, I have that much that much real estate to work with, but I wanted it cropped because most of the lightning ended up being on the left side of the frame. Okay, it's not gonna go all the way back, but all the but the lightning mostly was on the left side of the frame, so I didn't want. And then I do a lot of slides. You know, this is sliding left to right, and so this one 47%. I don't know if I have any that I know that I'm like. Okay, so this was a good one here. I'm at 65 on this one. So if I is at the full dimensions, it's a lot further away at 45%. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. I think this one, let's see, that was 80%, so this one, if I could have used the entire resolution, it would have been a lot smaller. So, but the next black and white one I do, I'll be doing it in 8K for sure. The states I go through are just anywhere that there's storms out there. So from Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma to Kansas, Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, for the most part. To export it, I have some problems with with it crashing sometimes when I do a certain thing or not working because of the way Premiere sucks with my network card. But I usually kind of go through and pick a preset like a 4K for Vimeo, and then but I still go through here and it bases it at this VBR, variable bit rate. I just go to constant bit rate and I go up to 100, so it's really good quality and maximum render quality. So they're usually like 5 to 7 gigabyte files, but I want it to look really good when people watch it in 4K, so I render it at a really high bit rate. If you're a high school student and you're interested in meteorology, I would tell you to go right into college and get your meteorology degree. I wish I had known a little bit more about this stuff when I was younger and maybe had done that. Although I don't think I would have been very good at the math and it would have really been a struggle for me. I mean, I would have been good at math. I don't think I would have liked doing all that math. So, I love meteorology, but there's a certain point I don't really care anymore. I'm more of a photographer, so I know how to forecast for most things, and I know what I want how to get in front of a storm and how to find where storms are going to be. But I'm mostly a photographer, and so I kind of use meteorology as a tool. Now, if I was really interested in meteorology, then I would definitely just go right into it. And while you're doing it, you're in meteorology, you can go to places. I don't know where there's good programs. I think like OU, College of DuPage, and they have things where they take their meteorology students out storm chasing in big vans and stuff. And so if you can look into something like that, it'd probably be really fun. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? I know I saw your comment like overnight, and that was really, really nice. And I haven't seen I know you used to watch the live stream all the time, and I do it again on my Patreon page now, but not a lot of people are watching. But Elizabeth is awesome. She had me come speak in Sweden a few years ago at a museum, a photo gallery opening, and that was really, really fun. And she showed me around Sweden, and she's a great lady. So this was a Denver City day. So this is, which is this big storm right here. About, I don't know, 15 minutes after that scene. So you can see, this is what's so cool about storms is this is looking right into it from the east-northeast side, where this is looking at it from the south side. So you can see in here, when I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this, I'm like, you see it wrapping around, you see this coming in and how curved it is? I bet if I'm over here looking up into it, I bet there's really cool structure. And I had guys with me that I had to say, we are not going to wait here anymore. I'm going to shoot this, but then we're getting in front of it because I know it's going to look really, really good. Oh, hey, Lee. My answer was just, you can replay it, but it just varies. I'm there 5 minutes to 20, 30, 40. It just depends. Thank you, Celestus. But I kind of like, so the music really, so just if anyone cared, I had this little transition here with Mamatis, and I liked how the sound kind of was like, it fit this drifting thing of clouds, and then it kind of goes into like a boom and a little faster, so I wanted to kind of start off with kind of like the development of storms with these clouds building. And I like this one, even though it's not that impressive, but it kind of starts off a little bit weak, and then the backside really erupts right here, and that's what was really fun to have tour guests with us because we saw this thing from birth, from like just Q going up, and we're like, it's probably going to happen right here, and then all of a sudden it starts getting better, and then we're sitting here watching it, and then you see the backside erupt, and we're like, it's just like magic, you know. We thought it was going to happen here, and then it happened, and then to see it just erupt was very cool. And that storm eventually didn't look good for a long time, but eventually became this cold water supercell later. It was pretty cool. Thanks, Lee. This is the same Denver City day. This was such a great day. It was like my second day chasing all year. I was like, oh my gosh, this year is going to be incredible after these first couple days. And this was that LP, and it was just amazing to this whole base free and the rain falling out here. And I decided to speed it up because the music kind of got fast and went into this haunting little bit of, or like, not haunting, but like kind of epic violin. And this clip I just always had in mind there because it's the colors and stuff and the lightning striking. It depends, you guys. I usually shoot every second. Sometimes every 2 seconds, but that's generally how much I do. You got to shoot as many frames as possible a lot of times on these. Like this shot right here, I was just continuous over and over as fast as I could go. Oh, Elizabeth, that's so nice. Hey, Chris. What are my top 3 golden rules of safety, creativity, preparedness? Whew. Just 3 quick questions. Quick loaded questions. I will say this, safety. If you're out chasing, you always want to know your escape route, and if you don't have one, then you don't want to stop. Or you better know that you're going to have to risk stopping chasing a storm if you can't safely get away from it. So some of these, you know, tornadoes going to drop, there's wall cloud, there's big hail, you have to know 3 rules per item. Oh no, I don't have 3 rules per item. But mostly you've got safety, you need to have escape routes, and and if there's lightning coming, you've got to be wary of where, you know, if it's striking behind you, you know, be a little bit worried. But I think my biggest one is escape route. You know, that's, you know, we got this storm coming at us, but we know we can stop and take our time because we have an east road. We jump back on the road, and I'm not going to let you show that, so I don't know what you're linking to. I know I can jump on the road and go back east, and we're fine. The tricky part is when you have storms where like you're on this, it's coming at you, and all you have is a north road, which means you have to race north, and it's going to come at you and get closer, and then you might have to go east, and you have to know that you can time it to get out of the way. And when I was filming, I'll show this scene just to talk about it because I really like this one. So I'm sitting here, you can see here's an east-west road over here, and there's a tornado in here. And right there, the tornado starts emerging, and this is really wide, so the tornado's a lot closer. But I knew I had an east road, so I knew if there was a tornado here in front of me, I can get east. It's fine. The problem is the storm wrapped up, the hail core wrapped up and started going parallel to the tornado, where usually it comes out a little bit more to the northeast. So as I'm going east, all of a sudden all these golf balls start falling and broke my windshield. And I thought I had a good escape route, and I did from the tornado. It was just the hail. If the hail had been any bigger, like softballs or something, I would have had a destroyed truck, you know, because I wanted to get this shot so much and let this tornado come out, and so I sat there a little too long. But it was fine. It turned out okay. I got a new windshield. But if hail had been any bigger, you know, I could have been a little more in trouble. So I knew I had an escape route, but the storm acted a little differently than I thought it was. So in my head, I would love to do that. I don't think anything will happen, but I always get people asking about shows, and I had someone emailing me today about wanting to do something with me on like a little documentary kind of thing about this. So I really, really hope that something like that would happen. Oh, Dan, that's awesome. Buckeye's great. I like lightning. I like shooting lightning out in Buckeye. Hey Danielle, maybe if you send it to me on Twitter or something. I just didn't want to put it in the chat because I don't know what people are usually. I don't know if people are sending stuff just to get attention. So, oh yeah, don't go down dirt roads that are muddy. You don't want to get stuck. That's another good safety thing. But if you have a good 4x4, I guess, and you feel like chancing it. But I wouldn't want to be like having a storm coming at me, going down a dirt road, and all of a sudden I'm stuck, and who knows if it drops a tornado. So. Yeah. Chris. I mean, when you're out chasing, I mean, that's the exhausting part. Is you're watching radar, you're looking at road options, escape routes. You are looking at. I'm trying to time lapse with 2 cameras, and then sometimes doing another one. Sometimes there's people there you're trying to help. There's a lot of things going on. You get used to it after a while, but sometimes it's a little fast paced and frenetic, or whatever that word is, and it gets a little exhausting, but it's also really, really fun. So here's that lightning shot. So you can see, like, I cropped it to the left side of it and zoomed in, and I'm panning to the left, because I wanted the lightning to be a little more central framed. So that's why, I didn't do this in 8K. I would like to have done it in 8K, but no one has an 8K monitor yet. So what I really want to do, I'm going to try to see if I can get with Fuji or something. I'd like to try to get that GFX 100 to start shooting stuff in 12K and then do 8K films. So, but I don't know, it's real expensive. Jacob, I do weddings as well, so I have various sources of income. I do a lot of wedding photography, family photography. With the storm stuff, I do photo workshops, the tours. I license footage and sell prints. Not that many prints, but the footage is licensing footage is really good. I think it's really hard to do this full time, so I wouldn't even know what to tell someone. I just found something that I was passionate about that ended up working for me. I liked photography. I was able to, I could, if I was single or married with no kids, I could probably just do wedding photography full time and make a living at it. But the fact is, I have 3 kids, and I also have the storm side of it, which gives us a comfortable living. But I will say that I found my niche in this because I think it was just based on my passion for storms and photography and wanting to be really good at it. There's just so many chasers out there that it's really hard to say, oh, you do this and you can do it full time. I think you have to figure out what you love the most about it and see if you can do it at a level that no one else can, or figure something out. I mean, I know guys that they chase full time because they get paid by like AccuWeather or Weather Nation, and they get paid a salary and they go chase a lot and they report, but they're working, a job, but they're chasing. So there's just all kinds of different ways to do it, but I don't think it's easy. So I would never tell you, recommend you just go do it. It just you have to. I mean, I definitely am blessed and lucky. So be able to do photography full time right now in this like climate and whatever, I think is financial climate, and the fact that everyone has phones and that can all take photos, it's not. I'm very, very lucky. So some kids keep slamming the door out there. I don't have the 128 sitting around, but I use a lot of these SanDisk Extreme cards, and 128 gigabytes. I got like 10 or 12 of those, and so usually that's enough for a day. Most I've ever shot a time lapse in a day is about 500 gigs. Well, if they're posting a 16:9 video with a letterbox, then I don't think it's 16:9. Then it's a little wider. I don't know. Chris, you can pan while time-lapsing if you have the gear for it. I just don't do it because storms are so fast that it's so hard to figure that out. It's hard enough to know right where to aim, but then they go, okay, I need to aim that way, and then I need to time this so that within 10 minutes I'm aimed more to the right. And then hopefully you didn't lose, your frame because you're panning or something. It's too much. And like I said, a lot of my stops are like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's just not worth wasting time. And I also I tell everyone else, they're like, do you use a slide or anything? I'm like, no, like look at this field. There's nothing in front of me to slide. I'm sliding with my in post, but a slider in real life would have been pointless unless I was down lower or I had some tall grass and you could actually have something in the foreground to make it interesting. But I don't shoot that way. I find wide open spaces. So for me, a slider or whatever is pointless. Now, if I was panning, that would maybe be a little different. Like looking straight and I knew a storm was going to go to the right and I was panning, that would maybe be something else. But again, it's a lot of work. Thanks, Mark. Real man makes his own luck. Billy Zane, Titanic. I know that's true. I know I work hard, but there is still a little element of, I didn't plan, to like, oh, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to do photos and I'm going to start time lapsing. I'm going to do it at a really high level and then I'm going to license footage because I know people need it. See, I didn't know any of that. I just started doing it because I loved it and then people wanted to license it. And I'm like, I didn't even know people did this. And then I kept doing it. And now I have a massive library of footage and then my name's out there so that people, the other thing I do is, guide filmmakers and production companies around. There's people here trying to film dust storms this summer in Arizona and they're paying me to kind of forecast for them every day and help them get on something, And so not only is it if I licensing footage, but then people see me as, an expert in some of that stuff and then ask me to help them get shots like that for like a documentary or a nature show or something. So it's led to that. So I guess what I was saying though is that I'm lucky in a way that I didn't really plan that this was what I was going to do. I just kind of stumbled into it. Although I think a lot of times most people, when you start a business or something, you tend to stumble into something. You don't sit there one day and go, okay, so if I do this and this and this and this, I'm going to have an epic business that's going to go crazy. Sometimes you just stumble into something that you're passionate. I really totally think a lot of stuff like this is about passion. If you love something more than everybody else and do it to an extreme, you are going to probably figure out a way to do something good with that. The hard part, I think, with a lot of it, at least for me right now, is that I've done it at least in my brain, at such a level that that now what I want to shoot, my standards are so high that I'm starting to look at storms that I used to really like and be like, that's not worth me time lapsing. And so I'm a little bit tired in a weird, funky place right now, but I know it'll get back. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't know about the letterbox and stuff. That's interesting. Hey, Danielle, thank you. Pecos' stuff is really, really good. Pecos is an inspiration. I love that. Hey, Martin. Timestorm Films, Martin Heck, you all should go follow his channel. He's got epic stuff. He actually posts things in 8K, so he's unbelievable. And I think I could be his dad too, so that's what's really funny. Old enough to be his dad. What I love about Pecos is he does stuff in his own style and writes his own music and has just this great voice and documentary style, and it's really cool to watch his stuff. It's just different than everybody else's, and I really like that sometimes, where I don't feel like I'm competing with people all the time, because there's definitely other people out there that are trying to do this, and that's why it took 2 years to save up all this footage to try to do the best thing I ever could, because I'm like, I know other people are doing this, so I need to top myself, and stay ahead of the curve. So I didn't have as much lightning stuff the last couple of years that I liked, and but the short stuff I have in here I really did like. I don't know why I didn't. I think there was a little bit of the lighting at night wasn't as good, but I was also a little more tired this year, and I didn't want to stay out till midnight, 1 a.m. trying to get something, especially with tours. Tours are really tiring. But this is a good one from last year in Nebraska. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I jump barbed wire fences when the shot requires it. And the sandhills is really hard. As you can see, it's one road, people there, power lines, and cars coming down. I mean, I had to jump a fence and get on a hill because I needed a view of this. Like, that was the only thing that mattered to me in that moment. So, so this was when I really wanted to keep shooting at night because the structure and stuff was incredible. Just watching that keep bubbling. This is an Imperial Day. This was a day that will live in infamy. Yeah, there's not really competition. It's just more in my head where I'm a competitive person. So even though I'm just do this out of passion and fun, I want to still make sure that I'm doing it the best of anybody, just for my self-pride and my competition, instincts, I guess, or whatever. So I want to be the best. So for me, there's always going to be a little bit of competition, even though it's not always healthy and it's not always great for me, but that's just who I am. All right, see you later, Stormy. Thanks for all the questions. This was also, this was funny. These two clips. This was where's the one? Oh, this is the Nebraska Sandhills, and then this clip was the next stop. Not this one, but this one was the next place I stopped with that same storm. A good day. Taylor, if I'm out chasing, I use radar scope and GR level 3 as current radar to follow them. This is the Imperial Day too, so this was, this is this storm earlier, and then we drove away from it, and like 30, 40 minutes later, we got to another spot where we could keep watching it, and it was dark now and with stars out. The storm is still going. 2 words about minutes 4:07 in the Vorticity. Daniel, do you mean at that time, the 4:07 into it, or the first 4:07? Thanks, Jetpack. I like this one. This had dropped a tornado just about 10 minutes before this, right in here, and we didn't get to see it. This is nighttime, and this is really, you can see this whole supercell structure here, the inflow, the striations going up, and then right in there was more striations. If it had been during the day, this would have been a real pretty storm. All right, let me go see what. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Let me go see what 4:07 is. Maybe I can just find it here. Oh yeah, 4:07. This is one of my favorites. This is one. It's interesting because someone was talking about earlier with how the storms were really close. So this is one where there was really no rain near me, but the shelf cloud came over, and so I just stayed there as long as. This is one of my favorite clips of all time because of the way that it looks like it's ocean waves, and also the music. So this was such a great song because it had these built-in parts of the music that I was like, oh, I could go fast and then slow it down with these beats. And a lot of times you have to wait for the music to, you have to let the music kind of do that for you. Like, okay, someone like my wife, she looked at it, she's like, oh, you don't have a lot of anything like speeding up like you do sometimes. And I'm like, well, the music doesn't fit it, You can't just force it, And so this song was great because it had this like I just over and over. So then oh yeah, that was. Yeah, so before that one was another fast-paced. Yeah, I kind of did it here too. like, you know, that's kind of fast, and then I slow it down with the dust spinning. Anyway, I really like that. But that clip's one of my favorites, Danielle. The colors and everything, the ways it was really, really. Ugh, it's definitely one of my favorites. In fact, I think it might be on a Vizio or a Samsung like TV, like one of those. It's on one of their chips inside of it for like demo footage that you can play on your TV when you buy it. I can't remember what it was. This is the storm that actually blew out my back window after we stopped at the gas station. You can really see, like here, there's like strong downbursts kicking up dust and then twirling around. Like here, you can see it coming down and hitting the ground and kicking up dust, and so I'm pretty sure that we got nailed by one of those little microbursts. And this is a tough area where we found some high spots in southeast of Roswell. Nothing but like oil fields and gas wells or whatever it was. It's hard to shoot out there when you got power lines and stuff everywhere. And this was just another good day. We had a film crew with us here, and they were shooting stuff for IBM, and so they got all this. This is great. The colors in here are magnificent. With the sun going down, this wheat field, I mean, we dream of stuff like this. The apparatus is pretty incredible. That's the end of Pursuit. And this is from last year. This is, again, the Imperial Day. I must have got 10 clips I used from the Imperial Day. This isn't even like the greatest clip in the world, but the colors are so good. Like, it's just a great, the green and hail and the way these clouds, I mean, it was just, sometimes the colors are all that matters, you know? And so this right here, this was actually a tornado, briefly. There was rotation on the ground that these other people saw. So this was a cool, the mezzo, the tornado right in there spinning, you can see, and then it just wraps up and disappears, but that was an actual tornado right there, which is kind of cool to see. That's also the Imperial Day. Kept going. This is also the Imperial Day. I like this clip. Right? Let's see. This hail, there's like this V right here of like a hail shaft coming down right in front of us, and that's why we had to run. Because the hail's dumping right here as the storm came at us. Oh my gosh. There was actually a tornado. This was Ord, Nebraska last year, and there's actually a tornado that happens right over here after we leave this spot in the dark. It was pretty terrifying. So again, this is another wide-angle shot, but if you remember at the beginning, I had the 50 of this little section with the sun and the shelf moving over. But the rest of it, you know, I shot wide, so I got two different scenes in one place. Imperial Day, epic, of course. Amazing structure. And this is a Tahoka Day after the tornado, but just a massive supercell here. Big old bell kind of structure. I mean, look at this. It's just cool. You can even see some turquoise in there for the hail. And it didn't move that much. I was really hoping a tornado or something would drop right here in front of me. But yeah, these are all real colors. Someone asked me how much saturation I add. I'm like, I add about 24 vibrance, but not saturation. And sometimes I still feel like these colors are borderline slightly dull. I don't know. So here's another one where we crawled under a fence and ran up on a hill, me, Brad Hannon, and Brett Wright, to get this amazing view in the sandhills. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Danielle thinks I do. I really, really love that opening to breathe. That clip is one of my favorites, you know. It's one of my, one of the photos I have, one of my favorite photos of all time is that from right here, black and white. One of my favorites. I love it. I love the detail on the tree. It was just incredible. Absolutely one of my favorites. So this was an awesome day, this Milburn Supercell, because we had 3 of us run it and maybe 2 other chasers, and that was it. In the middle of Nebraska, no one else around. We got this awesome structured Supercell LP. It was just wonderful. And this was after the Denver City Day, and it was just, I mean, in person it was great, but then you watch this middle part explode like upwards and curl over, and the structure right there, and the blue and stuff. I didn't even know if this color is as great as it should be, but you can see the blue and the hail and the sun setting back there. Cold water. And this was a day where it finally got surface based and everything was low, and you can actually see dust kind of spinning on the ground there. And this was the same day in the Nebraska Sandhills with those night Supercell shots earlier. Another, I'm not gonna lie, the road is way out here, another fence I jumped and ran out on a hill to get this view. And then there's Brandon Ivy's van pulling up right there, if you know who Brandon Ivy is. It'd be really hard, Chris, to shoot in London. I can't even imagine. And this is one of my favorite parts of the whole film, where it speeds up. And I'm like, I have to have the perfect clip, and I knew I wanted this tornado here. I just knew it. Just to like launch you into the grand finale. Yeah, Brandon. Some people call it the Cope tornadoes, but yes. Cybert, Cope, yep. Sometimes you just can't worry about if it's a little bit overexposed. In reality, this one isn't really. You can still see some stuff back there. Like I think if I went to this, you'll see on my histogram that it's not blown out at all. It just looks really bright. So it's not blown out. It's not overexposed. It's just really bright. And I try to keep it from that, but there's a lot of times you can't do anything about it. And if you try to bring up your shadows too much and highlights, you're going to start getting flicker and all that. So you got to be a little bit careful. And I also don't want to have a bunch of halos that look like crap when I'm using shadows and highlights and stuff. So I want it to look really good and realistic. And that's what it looked like to us, for the most part. It was a little bit, our eyes are definitely a little better than this. So then we launch into all my favorite really great clips, and this is Imperial, just monster Supercell here. I think this is the one where right in here right there is a little bit of a brief tornado. In here, right there, I have the photo of it. If I can find it. Yeah, this was with the Sony, I think. Yeah, but you can see right here that really looks like it was a brief touchdown. Just however brief. But that looks like a little funnel there going to the ground. So it was a brief tornado in there that right underneath that, right where it should have been. So that was wild. And this was Hoisington last year. This ended up becoming the Tescott tornado storm later. It was one of my favorite structures shots I saw all of last year. Last year was really hard. Now this is a great clip, but I'll tell you there's lots of problems with it. The inflow winds were so incredibly strong. I was shooting with a 135 millimeter and it was shaky, and I was shooting a low shutter speed, 1/30th. So there's a lot of blurry shots, it's blurry and then it's sharp. See, it's sharp and then blurry, but sped up, and I did some warp stabilization. You really can't tell. It looks just like a lot of movement because it's so shaky. I just figured I'm just going to own it, That was Imperial, the last really good spot we had kind of in front of it. I still wish we had been over northeast of it, but you just can't have everything. So in here, there's a tornado. This is Tahoka, and just all this motion is freaking great. Tornado right in here too. There's the little edge of it. All these lightning bolts are hitting these. Most of them are hitting these windmills. If you watch, that one hit the ground, but this one, the last one will hit up high right in there, and it hits the windmill, which which you can see. One of them right there. You can see that it's hit. It didn't hit the ground. It's hitting the windmill. It's very, very cool. Can I ask? No, Chris, I don't think they've ever wanted to buy the copyright. That would be an astronomical amount of money. So, I do have some people like Nat Geo and stuff. If they want to have stuff coming out, they might want something and use it exclusively, where they don't want anyone else to use it for 2 years. So that's not the copyright, but it's kind of an exclusive deal. And I've done that a few times with other things, and that's always good extra money. But that's really hard for me to sit on footage for 2-something years, so. Oh, UPS is here. Oh, there, okay. So, tornado in there, but can't see it. What I love about this clip, if you have a good 4K monitor or a big TV, you can go zoom into these cows, and they're really, really detailed. They're so cool. Yeah, my photos are on Facebook and Twitter and all over. So that was McCook tornado to this year. Awesome rope out. So this is the wide angle shot of that really tight 135 zoom. So I was doing 2 different shots of it, which was really cool to get the whole structure, but also get a really tight shot on the tornado. I would have loved to have been in a field or a place where I didn't have the power lines on the left. If I would have gone a little bit further south, but this happened right when I got there, so I just dealt with it, But I don't love the power lines and everything. I would have liked to have been a little bit further away. But all the structure's cool. And then this is Denver City. This is my favorite storm of the year. So, tornado in here, obviously I showed you earlier. See, this one is one, every time it comes on, I feel like I didn't saturate it enough, that it looks too flat. And but I do them all the same, so I think this one just needed a little more. But it was pretty cool to suddenly see a tornado start coming out of the dust and the rain. Just awesome. And it's weird, because right in here, it looks like it splits, where there's left, and it's a skinny little tornado. Anyway. And this is that same Nebraska day in the Sandhills, where I have a bunch of other clips. I love it with these cows coming across the road. And that was the Coke day. And if I had known, that this was going to turn out to be such a great clip, I might have hung in there longer, done about 40, 50 more shots. But I really wanted to get around the other side. I was worried about being too far away. But they were also getting too far out of my frame anyway, so. But with the dual, it's like it just gets good with the tornado on the left being fully condensed, and then I cut it off. So I wish I probably would have kept it going, but. And this last clip. This is that Milburn day where we had it all to ourselves, and I'm like, this is my perfect ending, because it's not exciting because it dies out really at the end, but I'm like, this is perfect for the credits. Because it's nice and slow and majestic, and it was wild to see that in person. I'd never seen anything like that. A very skinny LP, and it just totally died right in front of us. And when this clip stops, we drive away, and 5 minutes later look back, and it was almost completely gone. And then I did a little thing for my cousin Marshall, who's like my biggest fan in the world, and we're both big Marvel fans. He went to see Endgame with me, and we love all the post-credit stuff. So I put his little name in the gave him his own little post-credit scene. So he was pretty excited about that yesterday. The views are going up still, so that's really good. I tried my best to answer all these comments, so not always easy to do all that. Where's my lots of different oh, where's the beta one? Oh, here we go. I need to get to all these. A lot of comments since last night that I haven't been able to. I love this. 2 dislikes. What the F? I like to see stuff like that. It always makes me happy. There's Elizabeth's comment. I knew I saw that from last night sometime. Anyway, guys, I think I need to go to the bathroom and do some other stuff today. I might get a haircut. I gotta go. My workshop starts tomorrow afternoon in Tucson, so I'm gonna be doing that. Getting ready for that. I got some packing to do and whatever. So, thanks, Lee. So hopefully I answered all your questions. I feel like I've just been talking for an hour and 15 minutes straight. Hey, Paula. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it. I'm gonna try to make this. I might keep it up or something, and so people can watch the commentary later. I think it's unlisted right now, but I'll make it listed so people want to watch it back. So, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Even though Paula just got here, now I'm bailing on her. So that's just the way it goes. But need to do some things, and also look at models and see if there's gonna be any good storms today. I'm definitely a little tired, and I gotta go. I think storms will be in southern Arizona, and I gotta be out there for the next 6 days anyway. So I think I'm going to. I might not chase much today and just wait for stuff. So yeah, Lee, I'm sure we'll be around that area for the next week because of the workshop. So although things look like they're gonna be a little quiet, I really hope they're not. I hope they're not too quiet. Chris, man, I wish I was really good at gaming. I love watching Spiros and Dr. Disrespect and those guys. I really like Spiros because he plays Blackout all the time. He's a really nice guy, and every time I watch it, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. So it's amazing all the donations he gets and the subs. I mean, how much money he's making on Twitch. It's pretty ridiculous. But I'm not good at video games. I'm a 44-year-old guy who can't play video games that well, but I really like playing them. So, but I definitely like watching those guys. It's fun. All right, dudes. Until the next live stream, thanks for watching. So we'll see you guys later.